Hello friends, myself Bhushan Gholap. Again, welcome to my channel. In previous video lectures, we are start discussion on test planning and management concept of software testing and quality assurance subjects. In previous video, we are discussed about objective of testing, principles of testing. In this video lecture, we are going to talk about activities in software testing and testing during development life cycle. Activities in software testings. There are some of the common activities in software testings like requirement testings, test planning, writing test cases, test execution, testing feedback, defect retesting, user acceptance test, testing closures. Okay, so we will explain or discuss all these activities one by one. First activities is requirement testings. Mainly how to ensure that each requirement is testable. So this activity is going to ensure that each requirement is testable or not. Okay. Next one is test planning. This activity in this activity, it is about how to plan the testing activities, estimate the efforts, the required team, etc. So test plan is describing the test scope and activities. Writing test cases. In this activity, the tester starts to write the testing scenarios and script. These scenarios should include unit, integration, system, testing, etc. So particularly in this activity, tester analyze or as per testing plan, they start to write the test cases. Next activity is test execution. This activity mainly about preparing the testing environment and starting testing execution. So in this activity, basically we create the environment for execution of test cases. Next activity is testing feedback. After the test execution, the testing results and defects report should be reported to the development team to start fixing them, that is defects or bugs. So in this activity, that is testing feedback, the defects report or testing result should be communicated with the development team. Next activity is defect retestings. After the testing execution or test case execution, in testing feedback activity, hand over the defects report and testing report or result to the development team, and when the developer report that the defect has been fixed, it should be tested again by the testing teams. So when the defects report hand over to the development team fix it and again report to the testing team that defect has been fixed, and after that it should be tested again by the testing team. So that activity is called as defect retestings. Next activity is user acceptance test. This activity should be the validation activity with the end user who will use the system to ensure that they are working correctly from the business perspective. This can be iterative as well after the customer reports some defects as well. So in this activity, user acceptance test is done. Okay, this should be the validation activity. Next, that is 8 number activity is testing closure. So this activity is important to know when we should stop testing. Explore the testing findings and learn from the cycle for the new testing cycles. So this activity important to know when we should stop testing. So this is the activity in software testings. Next point that we are going to discuss, that is testing during development life cycle. Software testing life cycle, STLC, refers to a testing process which has specific steps to be executed in a definite sequence to ensure that the quality goals have been met. In testing development life cycle levels, each activity is carried out in a planned and systematic way. Each phase has different goals and deliverables. Now, in this diagram particularly, this diagram is also called as V model. That is, the V model is an SDLC model where execution of the processes happens in sequential manner in V shape, and it is called as V model because this model is nothing but verification and validation model. Okay. Again, regarding this model, this V model is an extension of the waterfall model and is based on the association of testing phase for each corresponding development stage. Association of testing phase for each corresponding development phase. So verification part is nothing but developer life cycle and validation part is nothing but tester life cycle. So in developer life cycle there is a requirement gathering, that is requirement phase, system analysis, software design, module design, then coding. And in the tester life cycle there is a unit testing, integration testing, system testing and acceptance testings. Under this V model, the corresponding testing phase of the development phase is planned simultaneously. So there are verification phase on one side of the V and the validation phases on the other side of the V, that is developer life cycle and tester life cycles. Developer life cycle and tester life cycle. So this is all about V model. In testing during development life cycle, like we discussed that this is the plan and systematic way, and each phase, that is development phase and testing phase, has different goals or they are related to each other. Like module design is nothing but unit testing, software design is nothing but parallel to integration testing, system analysis simultaneously system testing, and requirement is nothing but acceptance testings. So again, in testing during development life cycle, like in validation part of V, that is tester life cycle, there is a unit testing, integration testing, system testing and acceptance testing. So we have to discuss this testing one by one. Unit testing, first one. Unit testing basically done from developers or done by developers to test the smallest testable part of an application like classes, procedures and interfaces to ensure that the set of inputs given will return the proper value required. Okay. So unit testing is done before any other testing type and basically before integration testing phase. That's why in this V model, the development phase, that is development life cycle, module design and validation, that is tester life cycle, unit testing is in parallel phases. Okay. So again, the slogan or remembering point in unit testing is it is done by developer and is test individual components. That is level of testings. Okay. Next one is integration testing. Integration testing. So this integration testing is done to test the process of communication between each developed component together and to verify the interaction executed in different parts of the systems. And this integration testing done by tester. They test the integrated component, that is communication between each developed component together. Next testing is system testings. System testing executed to test the behavior of the whole systems or product as defined by the scope of the development project or product. And again, this system testing is done by the testers. In system testing, the current tests generated are made based on the risk and requirement specification, business process, use cases, or other high-level description of system behavior, interaction with the operating system, and system resources. System testing is most often the final test to verify that the system to be delivered meets the specification and its purpose. So this is all about system testing, and in system testing that it tests the entire system, whole systems. Next one is acceptance testings. Again, the acceptance testing is done by end users. And the main goal of acceptance testing is to establish confidence in the developed system and is most often focused on validation type testings. The acceptance testing also consists of operational acceptance test, contract acceptance test, and compliance acceptance testing. Okay, so this is nothing but acceptance testing. And this diagram you will find out in gurus99.com also. So again, same description of unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. Again, including this, again there is other types of testing also, like regression testing, component testing, alpha testing, and beta testings. Regression testing is nothing but after the defect, retest your software or product. Nothing but regression testings. Next one is component testings. Component testing is a method where testing of each component in an application is done separately. The component testing is also known as module or program testings. Next is alpha testings. Alpha testing is one of the most common software testing strategy used in software development process. Alpha testing is a testing of an application when development is about to complete. And this alpha testing is basically performed from our software test engineers or software QA engineers. Next one is beta testing. It is also known as field testing. It takes place at customer site. It sends the system software to user who install it and use it under real world working conditions. A beta testing is a second phase of software testing in which a sample of the intended audience tries the product out. So this is all about test during development life cycle.